And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Oasis Computers, John's back with us. Morning, John.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Good,
Great.
good. Did you watch or care about the Super Bowl at all or any of that stuff?
I did watch it because September wanted to watch it.
Okay.
And I still don't get it. I have to mention I'm not from here, so
I'm about to say, you didn't grow up like most of us watching football.
I saw the first game in Germany when I was visiting family that lives at a military base.
Okay.
And I go, what are you guys doing? You're just doing something and stopping again.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have like an affiliation for European football or soccer or any other
not
of the
too much.
sports that are bigger in Europe?
My beliefs are if you do sports, you need to play them.
Gotcha.
But, I can't waste the time on it. I don't see it.
You're too busy.
Not a sports guy.
You got your head buried in a computer.
And if I do anything, I do it myself. Used to play water polo, so.
Well, this probably bodes well for people that are looking for computer work, not athletic school skills.
Give me a couple of hours to get to work on the computer.
That's right.
I seem to enjoy that more.
He's not going to win you the football game, but he'll fix your computer here.
Yep,
so.
yep.
But speaking of that, I mean, I imagine you're getting a lot of folks, especially with COVID, people are trying to, make things last longer. And that's not always the case in computer world.
Well, that depends on who you talk about. If you talk about the users, yes, they definitely would like their stuff to work longer. But with the Microsoft coming out with Windows 11, I don't know what their thinking is. But they made machines that are about, 5-6 years now, all sort of obsolete in 4 years. With the 11, it's not supposed to run 11 anymore. And I have no idea what they're doing. I can't find the right answers on it. I have installed it on 12 machines now that can't run it, and it installs just fine without telling you anything.
Really? That's weird.
And if you look up the specs, it can't do it. Now, when you get done and you run the test, so it runs Windows 11, right? And then you run that test you can do on it, the health check, what they call it. Mm-hmm. It says, this machine cannot run Windows 11. Well, no, it doesn't. That's not what it says. It says it cannot run. It's not, what do you call that? Doesn't have the right process or whatever in it to run it.
It's not powerful enough. Don't have enough.
It's not to do with power. I don't know what it's got to do with.
Okay.
And on some machines, it will not install. When you do the same thing, it will tell you this one it can't run on it.
Okay.
So I've got it running on a 12-year-old machine. It's not supposed to do it at all, but it seems to do fine.
Maybe what the deal is, since they tell people it won't be, because they get unpredictable results here. So rather than just say, well, it might work or might not work, we're just going to tell you it won't work.
I don't know.
And if you tried anyway, then
there must be some reasoning behind it, whatever, but it keeps coming to mind that those folks that in Microsoft, in Redmond, in Washington, they're very smart idiots, is what comes to mind in my brain. I'm not sure how to else say it.
Well, with this kind of time, because in essence, because they're going to stop supporting anything for 10, and how many years now?
Well, the idea is that Windows 10 is good for another roughly 4 years, little less than that.
So they're basically telling everybody 4 years you better get a new computer.
Right.
Here.
The problem is that, when I got in this business, when I started the store, if you had a 5-year-old computer, you look at it and go like, my God, you're still using that old piece of whatever, And there was definitely, the machine was not capable of really keeping up with what the new stuff did. Mm-hmm. We have now, you remember the deal with the laptops we brought in. Mm-hmm. That is what now, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? That thing was 12-year-old then, is now probably 15 years old. It still runs Windows 10. It was still fine, especially with the solid-state drive in it. It's not the latest technology, but it's very usable, especially if you don't need no more. It's usable to the point that some of those older machines work better than some of the new stuff people buy.
Okay.
Now, there's some differences. The new stuff has some benefits on certain things, but from the point of I need to get my email and I need, what people do normally these days,
your day-to-day
it would work fine. Now, with I don't know what people think about global warming, the environment, the patch in the ocean that's an island full of plastic, whatever. I think we need to reuse and do better with our stuff. And if a computer is still good and does a good enough job, let it be.
Sure.
They're claiming security issues and it's not safe anymore. I think the biggest problem with not being safe is Microsoft itself. It doesn't fix its problems, really. They keep hanging on it and they keep moving it forward. Mm-hmm. And they just don't want to seem to fix it. And from security point of view, that's where I see more problems. Of course, the people, too, the complaints, the passwords, it's so hard, it's difficult. Yes, it gets harder if you want to make it more safe.
Sure.
And
if you think about it, the idea is making a stranger harder for them to access your material. Sometimes to get that to happen, you're going to have to do more on your end to do that. And
I always compare it with locks on the door. These movies from New York City, whatever, come to mind. The bad areas there.
They have 6 locks on the door.
Yeah, right, exactly. That's what I'm referring to. 1 lock's good, but 6 is better. Now, if you need to get in, you need to have 6 keys and 6 locks to open
Just
up.
hope you don't have a bathroom emergency on your way home.
Right.
You're trying to unlock all those locks to get to the bathroom.
So more security makes it more difficult. And part of the problem I also see is as it gets complicated with all your passwords, different ones to remember, and then you have to change it, and then that one you had is no good no more. Things like that. That in itself makes it unsafer because you start doing things to remember or whatever, like putting the sticky note on your computer. I steal your computer, and I go like, 125 XYZ. Maybe that's the password. Yeah, that's the password. I'm in now.
Sure.
It's and then going with where you get the message to your phone.
Yeah.
That sounds great, but in my situation, I've several accounts. Some belong to September at Home. She's stuck there. She can do much, and I need to do a lot of stuff. She had her stroke, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I do something for her, like I use a new computer. I log into the bank to check the account out if everything is okay. And then it comes back at me, check your phone, what in her case happens to be her phone.
Right.
She's at home. So now I can't do that. I've got the call and said, did you get a code on your phone and put it in? It looks like it's really good. Your phone's always with you, but that turns out to be not that easy either.
Sure. Absolutely.
And then, of course, the people that forget the passwords, change the phone number. I've had at least 4 people that have come in with an Apple device, and it's like, okay, what is your password for your Apple account? I don't know. I didn't have one. Whatever the answer is.
Yeah.
And we find out they did have one, and then it says you can't get in because your password is wrong.
I imagine those people that constantly get new Gmail or Yahoo or Google accounts, whatever. Probably email accounts probably have that same problem. It's like, I
don't
sent it
think
to my
that
old
too many
email.
people change accounts. What people do is buy a new phone and change the phone number.
I got you.
And
they can't remember.
That used to be no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
You just got a new phone number. You let your people know, I've got a new phone number, or you got a new phone number because you didn't want people to call you anymore, whatever the reasoning is.
Attach that number.
Now that phone number is attached to that Apple account,
Yeah.
so you log in, and literally 3 times I can remember for sure. People come in, and it's like, okay, now, yes, you're in luck. There's a number, a code gets sent to your phone. The phone is... XYZYY2, whatever. Mm. And I don't have that no more. I just got a new phone last week. And then you can't make them clear that the message goes to that number they used to have.
Right.
Well, what can I do? Can I get it to my new? Why don't you put the new phone number in it? Well, the whole thing about the security is that you had the phone number and it goes to it.
Right.
So now the message is, before you change a phone number, think really hard. Maybe you shouldn't, just in case, because it's tied to your Apple account, your Microsoft account, your Google account, and whatever. And it's either get the new phone number, update all that, and that don't seem to happen.
Right.
Forget whatever the reason is for it. And then you're lost your iPhone, so you buy another $1,000 phone.
Yeah. I know what I do with Apple, and I have an Apple phone, and I'm still a little old school this way. Before I get a new phone or a tablet or anything else, I do this on occasion anyway. I literally, because I have Apple, I have iTunes and everything.
Yeah.
So I literally do the old school method. I plug my phone into my laptop, and I upload, back it up on there. So when I get the new phone or whatever, even if it's a new number, it downloads my settings and everything else, so I don't lose that stuff.
Well, that's where problem comes in when people want to do that. They have not set it up. They have not thought about
that's the
it,
problem,
and then it does not work.
Most people don't think of
the password. What happens a lot.
I'm just a little more meticulous about it.
Yeah. Well, once you realize what's going on, you can take action against it. But there's a couple of things that happen. I got this new thing. Do you know how it works? And let me help you with it.
Yeah.
See, you do this, and this. Do you get that? Yeah, I think so. You get the idea. You sort of saw what they did, but have no idea what really happened.
Yeah.
Now, it's important to keep your password, okay? Here's on a piece of paper. Keep that. Okay. And you don't know the implications of it 5 years from now.
Right.
And, after 5 years, you've learned how to operate it.
Sure.
And the one thing you didn't realize was that you do have a password, but you never type it in because it enters in automatically for you. And then the answer comes back, I never had a password.
So yes, you did.
Yeah, but otherwise it doesn't work. You got to have
Your
one.
computer just filled it in for you all the time. Yeah.
So things like that. And then writing it down, it's amazing how many people come in with, a notepad like this or a little note scribbled on it. People literally come in with a stack of little pieces of paper, and sometimes I can figure out what they need. They can't see it. So
that's better than nothing. At least they attempted to have a history there. You know what I mean? I give an A for effort, even if it's not organized.
Right.
As well.
Some of that works, some of it doesn't.
Yeah.
People have. I ran into one yesterday. Had to set it up. They were pretty good at it. They knew their password eventually, whatever. Had to look for a little bit. But one of the problems was the password for your Apple account. So what we had to do was set up a new HP printer. And they couldn't get the printer going, and it's a new way of setting it up with all the mobile devices. It says do not hook it up with a cable. You have to set it up first through the wireless, whatever. So they couldn't get it going. I followed the steps. I got it installed. Then the idea was, can I print from my phone? Well, yeah, you got to put the app on the phone. So an Apple phone, now you're dealing with Apple account. And then the next step was put it on my husband's tablet, the Apple iPad. And the iPad comes from Albuquerque Journal. They have a thing going with that.
Okay.
I think you rent the subscription and you get the iPad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's how it works. I've
Interesting
rented it a couple of times.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, people have that. So now they want to print out the crossword puzzle from there. So we got to set that up. And we needed to have that account for that login on that device. And they had the password, but not the login name.
Oh. Okay.
Now, that part is not too bad because you go to the iPad, you look in who uses the iPad.
Usually that part's not covered up, so you can see it, yeah.
Well, no, it's just the username. Whose iPad is this?
Right.
Pete Hendrickson's.
Yeah.
And it's PeteH@MSN.com or something like that.
Or they give the Apple ID.
So now you know the username. It's PeteH at whatever, apple.com, whatever they used. And in this case, then we applied the password that was for Apple. And the two passwords, they didn't work still.
Nah.
But at that point, you knew what account you have, so you can then reset the password.
Sure.
And the phone we were working on was the phone where the message goes to, so we had everything in place there.
So you lucked out. But that doesn't always
that's how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But when it shows up at the store most of the time, it's especially on Apple stuff. It's like, no, can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I guess it's a mixed bag because, I mean, I guess in theory the security worked, right?
That's the whole idea, and that's all I have to say. It's so you can't get in. And it's amazing how many people said, "Well, if this password don't work, can we make another one?" Sure.
You just
Give me
remember
the
old
original password, and then we can change it.
Yeah.
Oh, and people still don't get it. It's not registering somehow. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully that's the lesson people could take from today. It's like whenever you get new technology or new thing,
make meticulous notes that you can read, that you understand.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I can.
I kind of feel like the computers used to do this for us at the beginning. You remember you'd buy your gateway.
Yeah, but that can be done because if it doesn't,
I know it can't now, but I think. Yeah. But what I mean is, we used to do it, so we got spoiled. Now we can't do that. And so it's really...
I don't know how you do this over the radio, but for instance, there's 3 circles, right?
Yeah, 3 circles.
Okay, now what are they? Is that zeros, O's, capital, lower? What is it? Do you have any idea?
Sure, you don't.
No, because they're all the same. So what we do is now, what do we have? Can you tell me now what I have?
I got a capital O.
Wait, this one?
Yeah, now I can tell different.
No. See, the zero, the O, whatever is interesting. We put a little line under a capital letter. So even though this one turned out bigger, in my writing for passwords, not in the regular writing, I don't care. But when it's password and I need to know it's correct, I put a little line under a capital letter.
I got you. So
in this case, that's the lowercase, that's the uppercase, and then the line through it is the zero.
This is zero, yeah.
And then, what is amazing is you have ABC and you have ABC.
Yeah.
So in this case, the top line is the capital. That's obvious, and some people don't know this either. They have never learned that there's capital writes different than lowercase letters.
Yeah.
But what is interesting now, if that mistake gets made, because I do it once in a while, I write a lowercase letter and meant to be capital. What happens now is this. So even though that's a lowercase a with a line under it, I meant it to be a capital A.
Gotcha. So that indicates
those kind of things are what we run into all the time.
Sure. Yeah, otherwise then you got to process elimination and do the codes and try it, the 4 or 5 different ways you could, whether that O is a 0 or
I think if we do, people ask, do I do classes and whatever, I just don't have the time for it at the moment. But I think we need a class on login methods and storing your passwords so you know that you can find them again. What do I do with that?
Well, maybe we should start something with that on here maybe. I don't know if we could do something there where you could at least do a couple 101s on some of that stuff.
Maybe we can work with that
and then
somehow.
We video recorded, and then you could share it with your customers too and say, hey, watch this. This is me on the radio explaining what to do with passwords.
That's an interesting thought. Maybe we can work on that somewhat.
Yeah, maybe it might have to be 2 parts or whatever, depending on how long. If we can't do it in a 30-minute session here, if we if we have to bring it over 2, we could do that.
Right.
Yeah, no problem.
Think about that.
Yeah.
See when it calms down a little bit again, what we can do.
But in the meantime, you can come and visit John, and he'll fight the fight.
I explain every day, and I explain it loudly, and of course it happens all the time. It was last week, Thursday.
Yeah.
3 people coming in and password problems like this. For all 3 of them, there was an issue that we had to work on. So I worked with the people, and literally I go, now, folks, do not forget your password. Do write them, this same thing I'm just explaining.
Sure. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Is it a generational thing? Like, is it a certain generation of people that typically do this, or is it
seem to be.
Old, young, doesn't matter?
Now, what I see is, it's always been, I can't operate a computer. Ask the kid from next door.
Right. I
don't quite see that. I have some instance where I said, ask the old guy, the 80-year-old. He knows.
Yeah.
Because he's into it. I'm getting a little older now.
Sure.
And it's the same thing. I definitely see that every day doing this, I need to think about it, and you need to stay active with it, I think.
Generally speaking, us older folks that know better, it's because we got burned before. That's why. We learn by experience.
Yeah, but we're talking about learning new and whatever,
but even like things like remembering your password, I'm sure, I don't care what level of technology we are, that's going to be something you're going to have to know, whether it was the dawn of computers or whatever's going to be happening 20 years from now. I think that's just going to be standard operating procedure for computers and technology, is you got to know those passwords and keep them stored somewhere.
Well, I think we need to, and I have the feeling we'll end up here. I don't know when, a year from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now, I don't know, but... what I see in the computers is, and many people, of course, don't want it because it has its problems too, but just like we have a social security number and we do a lot recognizing who it is. If we had some kind of a thing, a number, and I don't know what it would be exactly, that is you on the internet.
Gotcha.
Just like your social security number in the United States, if you have that, we know who you are.
Some kind of identifier.
There is some fraud with that, and maybe more than we want, but we know that that's supposed to be you, and that's just one thing that we deal with.
Something that we can't forget.
Right. If we had something like that for the computer, that no matter where we went, what we did, course, if you do something that is illegal, whether that's, abortion things come to mind maybe in Texas where people want it and other people don't. Well, if you are the person that needs one, then you may get in illegal territory. So is that, I don't know. I'm not talking about the abortion. I'm talking about, the ramifications of that, whatever happens.
But that's really true in any time of like if you do a license.
Right, any identification has that. Yeah. So, but if we could identify for normal purposes, most 98% of everything, if we just go, type in a name, a number, a thing, Oasis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the Oasis store. That everything that Oasis does belongs with that. Winners M126. That's you. That would be always you. And if you, that's if you can verify that with the appropriate password with it, now you have one. That's
your gateway into everything.
Yes, if there would be something like that, I don't know how it would implement what it would do.
Yeah,
that's what we need because it just gets too complicated.
Yeah, and then maybe it needs to go to something like a thumbprint or something like that.
And that looks. So many things have looked great, but on a thumbprint, if it gets serious, it's like.
It's true.
The thumbprint is also not changeable. If it does go wrong, your thumbprint makes you a criminal.
Yeah.
Then a good time changing that. You could argue a number would do the same thing, maybe, but there are issues with.
I'm just trying to think of things that are harder to hack. You know what I mean?
Well, a thumbprint can be pulled off this plastic water bottle and used to log in with stuff without cutting the finger off. Just get that. The eye recognition type of face recognition, people have managed to hang a photo in front of a camera and make it work.
And got that to happen.
So everything that looks like it's a great and wonderful thing turns out to be having issues with it.
We're going to have to do DNA tests every time you spit into a thing or something.
Well, we also, maybe, who knows?
Chris, there's ways around that, too.
Fingerprints can go wrong.
Sure. Nothing's foolproof. I mean, there's going to be that's the computer world. Just when you think you've got the be all end all, there's already a million people working around ways around it. That's the industry that is technology. That's why the joke's always running around about. I think the people that create viruses are the ones that make the virus protection because it really goes hand in hand with the
I think there's a certain amount of people that either get a kick out of it, it's easier, whatever the reason is, by not doing the right thing.
Sure.
Instead of building a program that protects you, they break into computers. They could just as well find out with their mind of how to break into it, build something to stop that particular thought that they had, and say we need to fix this to do that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to get rewarded. So people start stealing, breaking in. It's easier, and then on the internet, you're anonymous. Or it's not like me stealing your wallet. You see me do it, and you go, hey, wait, that guy there.
Sure.
But if I break into your bank through the computer, I don't know that it was me or whatever,
Well, I mean, you kind of look at what's going on with Russia right now and Ukraine and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, they keep telling us every day they're going to invade any minute now. But what's been going on for the last while now is Russia's been attacking cyberly. And looking at, if you look at, I don't know if you've seen some of these stories and everything, but that's kind of where the war's been at right now. It's not soldiers. I mean, they show us video of soldiers and helicopters and all that. But what's really going on is they're infiltrating internet and doing a lot of that.
Confusion of injecting fake stuff into your systems.
That's the kind of work that's going on right now.
Right.
And that's where, I mean, I know even we're talking security and stuff, but really that's in the same vein here. And not that I don't expect anyone to start going into our stuff, but I think that's the next.
I think there are people in there already.
That's the next.
Right.
Like I don't think we're going to be dealing with tanks and missiles. We're going to be dealing with.
I know we're running out of time. There's one last thing. North Korea sent off some of those rockets.
Yeah.
Some guy, I don't have quite all the details on it, but some guy in the United States here, pretty smart guy, said, I'm pissed off at that. I'll put him down. He knocked out the internet in North Korea for like 4 hours.
Nice.
And he said, that's long enough. I'll let it go again.
Wow.
And that was only because their internet security, whatever.
Was it
what
the
they do,
strongest?
Very poor,
Yeah.
as it was said.
Well,
I thought that was interesting.
I think that's the wave of the future. When we talk warfare and countries, quarrel, I think that's the new world we live in now. And so I think, I know that but kind of ended here on our conversation. Use this as that reminder. It's like, hey, get your basics down, know your passwords. Whatever works for you, whether it's a notebook you keep in a desk or if you love electrical and you want to keep it on another device, whatever it is, keep your password stored.
Yes, and then part of the problem is what it's important to you, the guy just in the street, whatever. Yeah. Your computer, if it's easy to break into, can be used as a stepping stone to break into government agencies.
Yeah.
How can they do that? But yes, that's what's being done.
If your computer has access to the internet, it's a gateway to whatever in the hands of someone that knows what they're doing.
Right. If your computer is infected with millions of other ones with the same thing, then the guy in charge that infected you can flip like a switch, and your computer starts attacking or going to a website that they determine. And if 1 goes, it doesn't matter. If 10 goes, it doesn't matter. If 100 go, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If 500 million machines go to that website, the website has no more access.
Yeah.
You can't get to the website no more because everybody is, Sure. It's called a denial of service attack.
It's something, that's more likely the kind of stuff you could see nowadays.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the best defense against that is just staying up on your passwords and knowing what that is.
Right, and anything important, back it up.
Back it up.
Make sure you have a backup, not tomorrow, today.
And then anything that's like social media related or banking related, keep those passwords changed and updated regularly so you're constantly, you don't want to keep the same password for any length of time.
Well, there's another problem with that. Some people want to change the password every 3 months. There's no reason to change the password if it's not compromised.
Gotcha.
The minute it gets compromised, do change it and take action. You can use the same password for 100 years if nobody got.
Now, if your password's 1234 or ABCD, then maybe consider changing your password.
Well, make it
something a little bit harder to break into. I know I've seen enough of that. What's your password? 1234. I'm like,
Well, there's a whole slew of passwords that people use. Monkey123 was a big one.
Sure.
Password still used tremendously.
Is it?
But I use it with a capital P, so try to figure that. Well,
that's Fort Knox right there.
There's a whole list that people that break into it use to, known passwords that everybody uses, and they try those first.
Right.
And then you're in.
So just use this as a reminder to stay on top of that kind of stuff. If your computer goes kaput or it's clogged up with spyware and spamware and everything else, or maybe it's time. Maybe you've got a old spin-up hard drive and you're ready to upgrade to a solid state.
We still do
device.
It's still a thing every day.
Turn your old computer into a new computer for like $200.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically what it is. Please visit John or schedule an appointment to get with John and let him take a look. You can obviously come visit. He does morning hours Monday through Friday.
We're now, because of different reasons that we've talked about already, but we're open from 8 till 1 Monday through Friday. Mm-hmm. And I asked the last person not to come in later than 12:30 so I can take it in. I do need to leave at 1. 12:30 gives us half an hour if need to be to take it in, have a look at it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then a reminder, if you're in earlier, this year it started off that way. Everybody comes in between 10 and 12.
That's the sweet spot for everyone coming in.
4 people standing there, whereas I had nobody in between 8 and 10.
So if you roll in like 8:30, you're probably going to get in quicker than you would at, say, 10:30.
Most days I am there at 7. The one day I'm not there seems to be the third Wednesday of the week that I don't.
He's committed at that time.
Yeah, that's when I'm here.
But please reach out. Of course, he's right behind the Wool Bowl there on Garden.
Right.
And what's the phone number to the office?
575-625-9141. And use the phone, texting, everything else. Eventually, we get to it. The phone gets mostly answered right away.
Very good. And, of course, if you need help with any of this stuff, reach out. John, so if it's something simple, he can do it right there.
Yep.
If it's something that takes a little bit more time, he'll take it and work on it in the afternoon and get back to you when it's ready.
Don't have time to take it in the back and then wait for a while and charge extra for it. No, if I can get it out within 15 minutes to half an hour up front, we'll try to get it out.
Absolutely. So, well, good deal. Did we get it all for this time?
I think so. I think we done good.
Well, appreciate the visit as always,
right.
And we look forward to next month and see what fun and frivolities have happened between now and then.
Very good.
All right.
Maybe something exciting.
Something, hopefully. Well, thank you, John. Appreciate you. We'll see you
Thank
next time. It is 7:54. Let's do